So yeah, guys. So the reason for this video this morning is this is going to be my first, what I'm going to call my cold weather ride on the 2019 Honda Goldwing. Been watching some videos of some folks up north and guys in the colder climates talking about riding this motorcycle in cold weather. Guys like Craig Hainsworth and Greg Hainsworth, GB Ringing It, Memphis Mike. So this is going to be my first experience riding in some cooler Florida weather, and I'm gonna give you my opinion about it. Now, I've had the opportunity to ride the Boulevard in some cooler climates. I'm in Lake City, Florida. Temperature today is technically around 40 degrees. I got up this morning and it was 38, so I decided to do this video. So guys, let's just get out and see what it's like compared to being on the Boulevard. So one of the focuses here, or the focus here, is, I am not one that is a big fan of riding in the cooler climates. I know for some of you folks up north, you're saying 40 degrees is nothing. For us here in Florida, when it gets below 60 degrees and definitely in the 50s, we're considering it to be a little bit of chillier weather than we're used to. So right now what I'm doing is I'm dressing almost as minimally as I can for the climate. The jacket that I'm wearing is actually the jacket that I would wear in the summer when I'm riding. It's an Alpine vintage jacket with all of the protective gear in it. And my gloves is similar gloves. One of the things that I always hated when I lived in New York in the Maryland area was when once it came to the fall time, I hated having to bundle up with the colder temperatures as I go outside, getting the the days of the long johns and so forth. Don't even know if those things still exist today, but I'm sure if they don't, they have a variation of them. And when I started riding motorcycles in the mid to late 1990s, the first bike I rode was a owned was a ZX 600. I remember buying that bike in the winter time, and I went out to ride it because I was so excited to start riding. But I also remember going to the gas station one day, and as I got to the gas stations, I guess I was going a little faster than anticipated, and when I tried to stop, and I started using the rear brakes. I didn't have any specific motorcycle training or anything at the time. I think I was probably a little heavier on the rear brake than I should have been. But I remember locking up those rear brakes at speeds that I didn't pass. And then came to the conclusion later, or the realization later, that the tires were so cold at the time that the bike had minimal traction. Something that I didn't think of back in those days, something that I'm well aware of now with more experience. But like I said, one of the things that I hated doing was bundling up. So what I've done this morning, with the exception of putting on, I do have sweats under my motorcycle pants, my motorcycle jeans. I'm wearing, of course, that Robert Simmons Paying It Forward hoodie that I just received in the mail. something that I wouldn't be wearing in the summertime. I have some different headgear at home that I didn't choose to wear on this ride. Again, I want to dress as minimally as I can, so I'm not uncomfortable. And when I get back to the house, I'm going to go through some of the equipment that I bought when I was riding the boulevard in cooler weather. The gloves that I'm wearing is the Alpine Gloves. These things don't, it doesn't do anything to block the wind, but with the Honda Goldwing, taking advantage of some of the options on this bike, like the heated grips, the heated seats. I'm going to turn them up to full blast, and then we could lower them as the temperatures adjust. So far, I actually turned the windshield down. The windshield can go a little higher up, but I wanted to experience what it would be like if the windshield was in the down position. I'm not feeling a whole lot of wind coming in at the time. My fingers are starting to warm up with the heated grips at full blast. I can feel the heat on the seat, which is pretty cool. And again, I know there's certain tricks that certain folks use with gloves and so forth. When I was racing go-karts, we did race in cold weather, or colder weather, as cold as it gets here in Florida. And one of the things that we did back in those days that I considered doing was putting rubber gloves under your regular gloves, to help as what we would refer to as a windbreaker. But again, like I said, I wanted to experience more of what it would be like to be on this motorcycle and don't have to fully gear up with all the winter gear that I purchased when I bought the Boulevard. I do have a jacket. It's from Built, and that jacket is a pretty heavy and bulky jacket. It does the job. You don't feel any kind of wind or anything coming in on it, but it's not the most comfortable jacket. So again, guys, that's what this video is based on. It's going to be based on how can I get away with minimal equipment or minimal gear. On my days off when I still decide to go out and ride. It's something that I abandoned a while back with the M109R. But, having the Goldwing, now gives me the option of using some of the features on it where I still want to get out on my days off and ride. So with the heated grips at this point, I can feel it getting really warm, to the point that I could imagine having to turn it down in a little while because it's so warm. Like I said, with the windshield, haven't had to put it up very high. The seats is already heating up. So guys, we're going to be taking a cruise here in the downtown Lake City area. One of the things that I'm going to be going to look at this morning was one of the hospitals up here that closed down. A hospital that I was supposed to work in 2007 that was actually struggling even back in those days with the kind of care they provided and being able to retain workers and so forth. Hospital has finally closed down, so I'm gonna take a ride while we get used to some of this colder weather riding here. So guys, this is now December, I want to say it's the 23rd. We're out cruising a little before Christmas. The temperature now is saying It's saying it's 49 degrees. I don't know. When I left home, it was saying 41 or 42. So, don't know how accurate this is compared to, the reading at the house. But for us in Florida, this is considered to be, I'm not going to say cold. I am originally from up north. But this is considered a little chillier weather than we would be expecting this time of the year. Well, no, I guess it's expected during this December and January and February. This is our winter months. One of the things that I'm going to do while I'm out riding is I'm going to jump. This is downtown Lake City here. This is City Hall. This is our DMV. It's the court system here. But over to the right. So we're going to take a little detour here as we take a ride around the lake of our closed down facility. Guys, also one of the places that I come and I'm trying to get some exercise that I need to start getting back into more, riding my bicycle. This area is, of course, as you can see, low traffic. Pretty nice around the lake here. Lots of ducks and so forth. Folks come out here and feed the ducks, jog. Yeah, beautiful area, guys, to just come and just get a little exercise here. I was going to come out on Tuesday and do a bicycle ride in the morning, and then I was going to come back and do this video on the motorcycle. I was going to refer to it as Two Wheel Tuesday. I remember years ago when I used to ride back in the 90s. I used to spend all of Tuesday watching MotoGP and racing with the likes of the late Nicky Hayden. Rest in peace, Nicky. Here's a guy that rode motorcycles for years at all kind of high speeds, and then he had a tragic accident on a bicycle, guys. Just shows when it's your time. It's your time, man. So yeah, here's one of the facility that I was talking about. Shanza Lakeshore. I came over here the other day to go into the parking lot to do some practices, and I saw one of the security guards here, and he did explain to me that there's a petition out to try to reopen this place. In this area we have one hospital that covers many different counties. During the pandemic, I work in Gainesville. They were busing. There was a bus that was diverting COVID patients from this area and the surrounding areas all down to the Gainesville area. And it had the hospital quite overwhelmed. So the idea that they're closing these facilities down is heartbreaking, because less healthcare facilities being open at a time during a crisis, I just don't understand. But anyway, guys, let's go. So guys, now we're gonna go out of this region here. I'm gonna get on the highway. The heated grips is now to the point where they're so hot that I'm gonna turn them down from I guess what looks like 5 to 3. Or maybe I'll leave them since I'm getting ready to get on the highway. But guys, the things that this Honda Goldwing offers, man, doesn't disappoint. This motorcycle has just took riding to another level. I know folks consider this to be one of the Cadillacs, or the Cadillac of motorcycles, and I'm starting to see why it was given that name. Now, as you guys can see, I am riding the manual as opposed to the DCT. I gotta tell you guys, I have done a video called Manual versus, or why I bought the manual over the DCT. And at that time, I hadn't had the opportunity to get out and to ride the DCT. Well, when the motorcycle was at the shop for the cruise control. So yeah, so I had the experience when I was there to ride the DCT for the first time. And I get it. I still get it, guys. The one that was there was actually a 2018, thanks to Amy at Ride Now Motorsports for hooking me up with the opportunity to be able to ride it. Of course, she was trying to get me to trade this one in to get that motorcycle. And again, there's a method to the madness, so why I chose the manual. And for all you folks out there that, I was reading watching one YouTube channel and reading some of the comments, and some of the comments was referring to folks buying the manual over the DCT having to do with egos. And I thought that was a little comical. When I thought about getting into motorcycling, my ego was left at the wayside. I realized the dangers of these motorcycles, but I also realized the importance of learning to ride these motorcycles with all of our instincts being wrong. So I did explain in that video why I chose the manual over the DCT, but I gotta tell you guys, riding that DCT was a freaking awesome experience. And like I said, I get it. I get why someone would purchase the DCT over this motorcycle all day long. But, like I said, I'm not going to go too much into that right now. I am going to do a video on my experience riding the DCT for the first time. But this one is on my first cold weather trip with the Honda Goldwing. And guys, it is absolutely amazing, man. Again, this motorcycle does not disappoint. I'm going to turn the windshield up a little bit as I'm getting ready to get on the highway. I'm on 441 right now. And I'm just going to go one exit and get this thing up to speed. Right now I'm traveling at about, looks like I need some gas here, so I'm going to have to stop at the gas station before I decide to get on the highway. I'm on E for excellent. So let's get some gas in this puppy. And then we're going to jump on the I-10 heading towards Tallahassee. So guys, one of the things I'm going to mention to you guys is that the helmet that I'm wearing is actually a helmet called an LS2, some helmet that I never heard of before. And one of the things that I thought was interesting about this helmet, now on the day that I purchased the Goldwing, I forgot to bring my helmet with me. So I decided I would buy a relatively cheap helmet. Well, it was a cheap helmet. This helmet was probably about a little over $100. It's an LS2. It is DOT and ECE certified. But I thought I'll take this helmet, just get the bike home. I was riding the motorcycle home. Didn't want to do it without a helmet. And I would just throw the helmet to the side as a spare helmet for maybe other things. And And from the time I put this helmet on, man, this helmet was actually pretty. This helmet was actually pretty comfortable. It was actually one of my most comfortable fitting helmets, and I've owned a couple of helmets. I've owned a Bell Qualifier. Owned another Bell that I use for go-kart racing that is approximately around a little over almost $400. I own that AGV Rossi edition that I bought from Cycle Gear. And I gotta tell you, out of all these helmets, this here seems to be the most comfortable, which is interesting. So I looked up the helmet on RevZilla, and they talk about some of the features of it, they gave it a pretty decent review. I was actually surprised. I thought they were going to be bashing it quite a bit. But one of the things that it allowed that my other helmets don't, because of the design of it, is the front part of the helmet leaves me some room for me to put the microphone and so forth. It have cutouts for your Bluetooth. So I was a little surprised and a little impressed. Well, a lot impressed by this helmet. So again, the color scheme on it is not bad either when it comes to matching with the bike. My wife looked at it when I first got home and was like, "Wow, that's a nice looking helmet." When I told her the price of the helmet, she was actually pretty shocked. So again, it forced me to go and look at some reviews of the helmet to see the safety of it. And like I said, it's DOT certified, it's E certified. So yeah, not a bad helmet. Now guys, I'm on the highway. Like I said, I'm going to be going to one exit here. I'm going to get off here at 41. I got up to probably close to, I want to say 75 or 80 miles an hour. And again, what I always wondered is how do folks ride these motorcycles and really, 30-degree weather and so forth, and I get it, guys. I can do this. And, I'm happy about that because, like I said, on my days off, I want to get out and ride. The Boulevard didn't really inspire much of that because I had to bundle up quite a bit to be comfortable on that motorcycle. The other thing I'm going to say is the gloves. My daughter did buy me some gloves, some winter gloves. And as appreciated as I am of her doing that, thank you. Those gloves that I have that she bought doesn't really provide some of the protective features. Now I'm going to get a little further behind this truck because I don't know, he's dropping some kind of fluid. I don't know if it's gas, I don't know if it's oil. But the awesome thing with these motorcycles, I can see it on the windshield. The awesome thing about these motorcycles is, like someone said, we have 3 different lane positions that we can ride in. And he's dropping whatever he's dropping right down the center, which is a perfect indication of why folks tell you don't ride in the center of the lane. Usually don't ride in the center of the lane. But again, it always depends on the circumstances. As for some opinions, some better opinions or stuff like that, guys, watch MC Rider. A guy named Kevin out of Texas that talks about road strategies, and this guy's a motorcycle coach, instructor. Focuses also on slow speed maneuvers, but he seemed to heavily focus on road strategies, man. And those techniques and those things that he talks about is things that can keep you alive on these motorcycles on the streets. And I'm sure that would be something there that he would be interested to see. talk about. But yeah, guys, so anyway, so I'm heading back home now. I have the heated grits turned down to 3. I kept the seat at full blast. I like my butt being comfortable and warm. Again, awesome feature. Nicely done, Honda. I'm sure that's on most luxury motorcycles to this day. You know. So guys, this is my first ride in cool weather with the Honda Goldwing. It's one of the reasons that I moved to Florida, so I can do some of the activities that I like to do year round. You know, again, so glad that I can get out and share this video with some of my viewers. Like I said, I remember when I was in Maryland, man, and I owned my first motorcycle. I remember everybody feeling a little depressed when the fall came about all of the things they did in the summertime, having to put their bikes up and having to put their boats up and so forth, because we're going to be experiencing a couple of months of not being able to enjoy the activities that we so enjoy. So guys, when I get back home, what I'm going to do is I'll probably set some stuff out on the table and show you some of the gear that I'm wearing now, as opposed to the gear that I would be wearing if I was on the M109R. And have a little closing discussion about it. Or I don't know, I might put it in the beginning of the video. Seems to be water that's dropping from that boat, that trailer boat. But that's fine. I'll still stay out of the lane of it. It'll be interesting if he's now coming from the river on a cool morning like this with his boat. That would be awesome. Every time I go out and ride, guys, it's an opportunity to practice some U-turns and left turns and right turns. Like Robert Simmons say, man, don't consider this just to be a ride. Say, hey, honey, I'm going out and practice. to wash the sand, guys.
So again, guys, we're gonna wrap the video up, showing you some of the equipment that I was using while I was out riding the Honda Goldwing. I'm gonna show you the equipment that I would have to use if I was on the M109R. The first thing you're gonna be looking at here, guys, is the Alpine Gloves. These are actually summer gloves that's kind of mesh, but they're super comfortable when it comes to manipulating the controls. So I was able to wear this because of the heated seats. These are what I would be wearing if I was on the M109R. These are Cold Tech from Cycle Gear. Quite a bit bulkier, does do the job in keeping your hands warm. But again, not real sensitive when it comes to controlling or manipulating the throttle. Now what I'm wearing on my head is what I was actually wearing under the helmet. On the Honda, this is what I would be wearing if I was on the M109R. This is a warm-up freeze out. Again, from Cycle Gear. I'm not really uncomfortable, but again, a little cumbersome. You know, I wanted comfort again to be the priority when I'm out riding. Now, what you're looking at here, guys, is my jeans. And these are motorcycle jeans, again, with all of the protective gear in them. And under those, I had my sweats, which I would be wearing if I was on the M109R. But here I'm rocking my Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle, the Robert Simmons Paying It Forward channel. This is some equipment that I purchased from his website, help support the channel, but it is awesome material. It's nice, it's comfortable, and it does the job of keeping you warm. Mesh jacket, guys. So I wore a mesh jacket over that sweat top, and as you guys can see, this is the Alpine jacket. It doesn't have a liner. It's pretty much almost see-through. That's how light it is, but it does have all the protective stuff in it. So again, with the windshield and so forth, he was able to wear it on the Honda Goldwing. I would not be wearing that if I was on the M109R. For the M109R, guys, this one is a big deal. This is a jacket from Built. I ordered this when I first purchased the bike and knew I was going to be riding in cold weather. Awesome jacket, but it's really heavy, bulky, cumbersome. And the thing about it is once it is closed up, it's a little bit uncomfortable in the top part here with your helmet on. So again, I'm hoping that I don't have to wear it much anytime in the future. It does offer being waterproof. And of course, I spoke of that helmet that I bought on the day that I purchased the motorcycle. This is the LS2 helmet. And as you guys can see, it is DOT and ECE certified. But this helmet was really comfortable. It had the chin mounts and everything, or the chin curtain, where you could mount your mic and everything in there nice and comfortably. So I think it's a pretty awesome helmet for the price. But this is the helmet that I usually wear. This is my AGB helmet. My Rossi edition. Love wearing this helmet at times too, but it's interesting that the cheaper helmet here seemed to be the most comfortable. So anyway, guys, that's the wrap up here on this video. For all of you guys that subscribe to the channel, appreciate your support. For all you guys that haven't yet subscribed, guys, hit the subscribe button below, share, like. For all of you guys that's out there riding, I don't care what you ride, consider taking those safety classes and make safety a priority, guys. Rich, the Return Rider,